So here we're looking at how to access southern sandstone pinnacles. And there's a fair few of these pinnacles dotted around in the crags of the southeast, and they obviously present a slightly different challenge to the rest of the crag in actually accessing the top to set up your ropes. So in this little film we're going to have a look at the different methods you can use to get onto the top and rig your ropes for a day's climbing. So obviously the most simple and the easiest way to do this is to solo an easy route to the top of the pinnacle if you're confident enough. Obviously only do that if you're happy with soloing the route. Bear in mind that southern sandstone is a soft rock and holes do snap, so you know that is obviously a fairly risky approach, but people will do that. Sometimes you are able to just step across at the top of the pinnacle. There'll just be a small gap and you can just step from the sort of the mainland, as it were, onto the top of the pinnacle, and then you can go about setting up your ropes as you would on any other bit of crag. If you're not able to do that, or if you don't want to solo it, or the step across is a little bit tricky, you can always get your mate to belay you across. So you've got a bit of security there. That isn't always possible though. So we're going to have a look at some other ways to get your rope set up on these things without having to be able to get onto the top of them to start with. So if you can't get onto the top of the pinnacle, the next best thing to do is to take an extra long piece of rigging rope, static line, and you want it to be long enough to reach from an anchor on the mainland, which would be either a tree or some bolts, and go right across the top of the pinnacle and be enough to just hang over the other side with a screw gate on it just over the lip. You'd then tie a screw gate onto the end of that and clip your climbing rope through it at the halfway mark as you would normally. So once you've done that, you want to coil up the climbing rope and the rigging rope as much as you can, and basically throw it right across the top of the pinnacle so that the climbing rope drops down the other side, down the face that you're going to climb up. You then got someone on the ground to pull it tight and make sure that carabiner is located over the top of the crag, so that you're again not getting any moving rope contacting the rock and causing wear. And the guy on the top can just adjust that piece of rigging rope to make sure that that's in the right place. From there, you're going to belay someone up the climb as you normally would, and once they get onto the top, they're then able to rig ropes as you normally would on a sandstone climb. Your next problem is then descending, because there's no easy descent off the pinnacle, otherwise you wouldn't be using this technique. So what you need to do is to down climb a route to get back to the ground and avoid, if at all possible, weighting that rope. What you don't want to do is just to lower off. So you're aiming to down climb a route, possibly even drop your rope onto a different line, which is easier if you need to, and then down climb that route without weighting the rope. Once you've finished climbing on the pinnacle, it's pretty easy, relatively simple compared to the rest of this. To get your ropes back, you can just pull your climbing rope through and call that as normal, and then walk around to the top of the crag and retrieve the long piece of rigging rope that you used to get onto the pinnacle in the first place.